Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports from around the world. Alright, so I was setting up for the next clip, and I had just finished recording this clip, and now it's at the end of the segment for Colin, and they're just kind of going back and forth, him and J-Mac. And I honestly cannot believe what I just heard. I mean, to me, it sums up everything that is wrong with the media right now, sports media specifically. So I had already posted this video where, Colin just kind of went on a whole rant about how good Anthony Edwards is in Minnesota and how all these teams, how for the last, 5, 6, 7 years, we keep getting a new champion and how it's kind of similar to the 70s and how this is actually a bad thing. But this is actually a bad thing that we don't have any dynasties because, we need to latch on to stars and that it's actually bad that Minnesota may potentially win, which is insane to me. And I went on a whole rant about that. And now as I was, ended that clip and was trying to set up the next one, I see this continue to play and my mind is honestly blown. I mean, it really, really is. So take a listen and we'll unpack it from there.
They can get you 24 a night. So your impression of what you watched?
Yeah, Nuggets are done, I think, obviously. The Timberwolves they're fascinating because of the way they're built with a lot of role players and length. But Colin, the NBA has to be careful what they ask for. Oh, we don't want these super teams. We got to make these guys pay the luxury tax. All right. Yeah, you remember what the 70s in the NBA was like. Yeah, neither does anyone else.
Yeah, also, they're going to Amazon with their new contract.
That's fine.
A lot of people aren't going to pay for that, so you're going to lose big chunks of your audience there. Yeah. So what keeps you alive is the NFL can go occasionally to streaming. You notice who the NFL put on streaming? Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, the NFL put Patrick Mahomes in streaming. You can draw an audience. It's smaller than broadcast TV, but it's an audience. And it's also the NFL, which is in its own galaxy.
How many people turned on the game last night and were like, who's Anthony Edwards again? Honestly, I love Anthony Edwards.
No, we're sportscasters. We know it. We love it.
We're into it. But like casual fans are like, oh, the Nuggets are in trouble. They're losing to who? Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels? Like, people don't know these guys. And it's going to take some time. And listen, we like the NBA. We're going to watch, right?
Yeah.
But are these teams going to rope in the casuals?
No, we were talking about this morning in the meeting. I said if you got to a Minnesota Celtics final, even with the Boston brand, I'd be really fascinated to watch the numbers. If it was an OKC Boston, I mean, it's not going to happen. But you can say what you want is football is not market or player beholden. Baseball is. Yeah. NBA really is.
And we don't care so much about the numbers for the games, but like the numbers for our show. Are people tuning in to hear us talk Minnesota OKC, or would they rather hear another Jets topic for 15 minutes? Because we can.
Okay, Mike, my blood is boiling right now because this is what I keep saying. These become self-fulfilling prophecies, both by the NBA and the media. If you spend the last 20 years talking about LeBron James and the Lakers and, and only the stars, whether it be Steph Curry, KD, that is the world and the culture that you created. That is what the NBA does and what sports media does, okay? OKC is balling out. Minnesota is balling out. And on these shows, rather than talking about it, inviting the audience to now become fans like we had to once upon a time for Steph Curry and KD and LeBron James, they rather talk about, will LeBron James win another ring? Should LeBron James leave Los Angeles? What should Steph Curry do next season? That's what they rather talk about. Is KD done? Is KD past his prime? No. Rather than, why not talk about Anthony Edwards? Why not talk about how good OKC is and the Timberwolves? And they don't do that. So that's why then those ratings are not that high, because you're not talking about it. You're not giving people a reason to talk about it. That is the problem. I mean, think about this. They literally are saying the quiet part out loud. That he's saying, we don't care, except we kind of care. They literally do not want a team like Minnesota or OKC to reach the NBA Finals. And if they don't want that to happen, what do you think the NBA wants? This is why people say things like the NBA is fixed. Because they want the ratings, they need the money. And so you tell me, at the heart of it, does the NBA really want LeBron James and the Lakers to make it to the finals? Or are they okay that it's going to be the Timberwolves or OKC? I mean, it's just, this is why as fans we get so frustrated. And then it's so insulting saying a lot of people don't even know who Anthony Edwards is. Well, that's their fault, man. That's not only the fans' fault then, because they're obviously not that much of a fan, and the media's fault. That's your fault for not showing the world, showing the country, showing the NBA fan base who Anthony Edwards is, who Minnesota is, what makes the Timberwolves special, what makes OKC special. So, I mean, like, yes, do some of the ultra casuals who really don't know anything, right? Like my dad or my mom who's like, yeah, I'll watch a game or two. I'm not watching every single game, but I'll watch a game or two. Yeah, they don't know, but guess what? Once upon a time, they had no idea who Steph Curry was. They had no idea who Kevin Durant was. They had no idea who, Kobe Bryant was. So I don't understand that logic. Why you're saying that that's like a bad thing if there are some people that don't know who he is. Well, lots of people don't know who these players are before, a star is born. And again, it's your fault for not introducing them to the world. You should take culpability in that because you rather talk about, is Steph Curry going to leave Golden State Warriors? What's going to happen to Klay Thompson? What about KD? Is he a disaster? What should the Phoenix Suns do? How about how amazing was it that the Timberwolves swept the Suns? You looked at it from the different angle. You looked at it from the opposite angle. This is KD and the Phoenix Suns' fault, not the brilliance of the Timberwolves. So I just take issues with these narratives that the media constructs in the NBA as a whole, and then they're like, well, this is bad. And it's like, you're making it bad. Having OKC, having these other teams win and be competitive is exciting. Like J-Mac's like, oh, you careful what you wish for. You didn't want these super teams. Yeah, we won good competitive games. Like, what are you talking about? Like, seriously, what are you talking about? I want OKC to have a fighting chance. It's exciting that these other teams, aren't winning again and again and again. The most exciting that's happened so far in these playoffs right now is the Timberwolves beating up on the Denver Nuggets, because the vast majority of the NBA media thought that the Denver Nuggets had a one-way ticket to another ring. And yet they're en route to being swept now. Jamal Murray's throwing heating pads. He's so angry. That's exciting. That's box office. So I'm just beside myself because I think it's insulting. How are you supposed to feel also if you're a fan base? Not everyone lives in California, Philadelphia, New York, and Texas. There's the vast majority of the country is these more rural areas. Like, why do you think there was such a, and I do not want to turn this, I'm afraid to even say the word, politics. We're not going to get into politics. I'm going to make a comment, but let's not get into politics, but it is relevant. Like, why do you think there's such political upheaval? Because they feel both sides of the spectrum, whether you're all the way over there or all the way over there. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, truly. But that's why both sides can be so angry, because they're like, well, wait a second. Majority of people aren't in the extremes. Majority of the people are in the middle. Majority of the people don't feel like they're being represented by whatever is at, whoever you can vote for. And that's a problem. That's why majority of people are upset no matter who wins, because it's like, this is not what we want. This is not, what we think we need. And so that's what's happening with these sports. Not everybody is a Los Angeles Lakers fan. Not everybody is a Celtics fan. We want to see other teams play and compete and win. It's exciting. Okay? Yes, stars are also exciting. It's not to say that you don't need stars. I confess, I was not glued to the TV set or computer where I watch my games, or my phone actually, watching, the Magic versus the Cavs. And I get that. And if LeBron James was on the Cavs, or KD was on the Cavs, or some of these other teams were on, some of these other big stars were on the Cavs, I would be more likely to watch them. So I concede that. But again, that's an NBA problem. That is an NBA problem. And that is a media problem. It's just the reality of the situation. Because I will casually watch a football game with, whoever, a backup quarterback for the Carolina Panthers against, a backup quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Like, if that game's on Monday and I don't have a lot going on, like, yeah, I'll have it. Maybe not be glued to it like it's Mahomes versus Burrow or something, but I'll still watch. It's still interesting. It might be an interesting storyline. Oh, but this backup quarterback, he actually played really well last game. Like, is he going to go on a run? Like, those are fun little storylines that we often get in football. Not necessarily do we get that here. And that's also the thing about football. especially Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night's game, is that the commentating is also a big part of the entertainment. I don't know about you guys, but like I genuinely look forward to like Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. Like it feels like you're hanging out with them, right? You get to hang out with them for a few hours. It's like a podcast where you're watching things go on in front of your eyes, right? And so it's like even if the game's not amazing or the teams or whatever, or if you're at the point of the season where now these two teams clearly are not going to be competitive in the playoffs or whatever, you can still watch it because it's still you're just hanging out. It sounds like it feels like you're hanging out with some friends. And you also get to learn a little bit, and and it's just entertaining. At least I find it, and I assume you guys to a degree too. And that is what basketball lacks. Basketball gets, they're all over the place with their commentating. The only experience that I had that with, they fired. They had Mark Jackson and Van Gundy, who I'm not going to act like they're the most amazing people ever, but that trio of people was fun to listen to. It was really, it did feel like you were just hanging out with a bunch of guys. And now they keep inserting all of these nonsense hires, trying to force, no, God knows what. I don't even, it's just, they end up trotting out a bad product, and it's absurd. And then they also trot out people who are unwilling to call out the league as well, because they just want people who are just going to say nothing but positive. Reggie Miller couldn't even admit that this is a disgrace that Jamal Murray has not been thrown out of the game. He just skipped over it. Even the guys on TNT barely even said anything about it. They're like, he's going to get in trouble. Is he going to get in trouble? I don't know. And that was it. The fact that they weren't like, what the heck did I just see? I've never seen that before. It's just, you just feel like you're watching an inferior product with people that are all on that side. And we're all on the outside. We're on the outside looking in. And football does the opposite. Football makes us feel like we're there and part of the experience. That we're actually in it. I mean, even the fans have an effect within the game, home field away, advantage. Like that actually is a legitimate thing in football. You can actually disrupt the play calling. You can disrupt, you can cause the players not to hear, what's going on at the line of scrimmage. Like it genuinely can affect, like you are actually part of it, and that's what makes it, such a great experience. The NBA lacks that. The NBA is lacking a lot of things. And now if you want to say that the ratings aren't going to be really good, if Anthony Edwards, one of the most exciting basketball players right now, and the Timberwolves, who play ridiculously exciting basketball right now, who are dominating Jokic, you guys are all telling me that Jokic is the greatest player in the history of the universe, and the Nuggets are making him look like, a rookie, that is exciting basketball. And if you want to say that the ratings are going to take a hit because of that, that is your fault and the NBA's fault. And by your, I mean the media. Not the guys who are watching this. You guys are great. So it's just crazy to me. It really, really is. And so I saw that and I was just like, I'm like on my computer trying to set up another clip and I hear this and I'm just like, I feel like I'm going insane. I really, really do. It makes me think of, the clip, if you've ever seen There's Something About Mary. There's going to be a random one. I wish I had a clip pulled up, but I'm not good like that. Where, he's like, 8-minute abs, and he picks up like a hitchhiker and it's him and Ben Stiller and he's like, I got an, idea, to 8-minute abs. And he was like, yeah, that's a pretty great idea. He's like, what happens if someone, comes up with 7-minute abs? And he's like, no. And it just makes his brain want to explode. Like, that's what I feel when I hear this type of stuff. It just makes my head want to explode. And I just don't know how you're supposed to feel if you're like a Minnesota fan or an OKC fan and you're watching these shows and you're just like, what the heck? I don't even feel, I'm like, it's like I love sports and yet you're pretty much telling me that my fan base doesn't matter and that you actually don't want to see my. How are we supposed to take that? It's just, and I come from a major market city and I lived in multiple major market cities. I have lived in Philly, from Philly, was in California, Southern California. So it's like, I get it. I've been in these major markets. So it's not like I'm just, in, Iowa right now being like, hey, what about me? What about me? So it's just crazy to me. It really, really is. But that's my rant. Those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours on this one. Seriously, I really, really want to hear. I'm all over the place right now. I honestly haven't been this fired up for a clip in a long time. Usually it's a little bit more chill, but this is like, I just find this mind-blowing. I really, really do. I think I probably said that this is mind-blowing maybe like 47 times. But let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on all of this. Do you think that this is bad for the league? Whose fault do you think it is? Is it the media? Is it the NBA? Is it the fans? Is Colin right? You know what? You just got to keep pushing LeBron James and then the Lakers. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.